Should Terry hang up and call back in?
Maybe.
Yeah. Bear with me for a moment. Sorry, we're having a little.
Hey, Rob,
Yes,
when you swear to people in, since he's
You
got
wanna do-
everyone muted, if there's anybody that wants to say anything, how are we gonna know who's who?
well, they'll
I'm
just
going to
speak,
ask them.
Okay,
Okay,
because we got quite a few in the waiting room.
well, we'll just assume when they say I do, that everybody's sworn. What else can you do?
Can't do much. I'm more concerned is if people are muted in the waiting room and somebody there is to one of the cases, we get to hear from them.
Oh, you mean as for the oath?
Well, not necessarily for the oath, but for the, when we're doing the,
Oh, I see. I see. Well, I can't do anything. We can't do anything if it's by their act.
no, but I mean, John's gonna have to know who's for which,
Yeah,
zoning.
people have to identify themselves, which I'll ask as part of the oath. I always ask that people identify themselves when they start speaking.
Yeah, we're gonna know whose case we got. It's just, there's an awful lot of people in.
Okay, you can hear me? You hang this one up now, or?
I can hear you.
I can hear
Okay.
Terry now, John.
Okay, I'm turning this other one off.
Okay, John, we
You
ready?
still hear me?
John, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Terry.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, our first hearing is ZHB 20-12. It's property at 100 Peak Road, Elizabeth, PA 15037. If you would like to introduce yourself and explain.
Hold.
Your-
Before we move into that, do we want to give the oath?
Yes, let's
Yeah.
do that.
Got a little ahead.
This will be for all the applicants or anybody that wants to address the board tonight.
That's right. For anybody that wants to say anything at any of the hearings. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to God on the last great day.
I do.
I do.
I do. I do.
Okay,
Okay, do we want to proceed?
yeah,
Okay. You want the applicants to proceed?
yes, I
Yes.
do.
Okay. Pamela and Matthew, if you just want to go ahead and state what you're requesting.
Sure. I'm Matt Bloomer. This is my wife, Pam. What we want to do is we want to put in a black ornamental aluminum fence. It's going to be professionally installed. The purpose of it is for the safety of our kids and a barrier to Waggle Hill. Where we live at on Teak, we have a corner lot. So I guess technically we're considered having 2 front yards and we do not meet the 35-foot requirement We're asking for a variance. The way we have it set up is the fence would be 24 feet back from Teak Road. And at the shortest point on Waggles, it's 22. Also, just to mention that it would not block or obstruct anybody's street view.
And the height of the fence is
5 feet.
5 feet.
And that's basically to keep your kids from running out onto Waggles Hill.
Correct.
That is correct.
That's the main yard that they play in over there. So that's where they play ball and everything.
John, is there anything you want to provide? Well, first of all, was it posted, John?
Yes.
Okay, any calls or complaints or comments or anything?
I only received one comment, and that's from a neighbor who has no opposition, and he's also here tonight. If he wants to say anything at this moment. I think.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
this is Dan Poirier, 102 Teak Road. I live next door. I'm in favor of the fence. I see no issues with it. When you pull out of Teak Road on the Wiggles Hill, it will not block the view down Wiggles Hill at all. So I'm in favor.
And
Okay.
Dan, you're on the inboard side.
Yeah,
gonna-
I live on Wiggles Hill, then their house, then my house.
Okay.
And I'm going to check just to see if there's anybody else that has any comments here real quick. So bear with me a moment. Does anybody else have any comments on this one? I can't, unmuting a few people here to see if there's any comments on this one. Okay, does anybody have any comments? If I miss you, try a chat. I think I got everybody, requested everybody to unmute that may have a comment or anything.
How about yourself, John? Do you have any comments for the board?
Let's see. Other than the property is a corner lot, so it does have 2 required front yards. The height and type of fence he's putting in, being out there and looking, it does not appear that it would cause any issues with visibility at the intersection.
Charlie? You have
No
any?
comment.
Derek?
I see no problems with anything. It just, it's a two-sided fence. It doesn't look like it's going to be any problem.
Jane?
I'm fine with it.
Okay,
I have a couple questions.
go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, first of all, what is the setback is what, 35 feet?
Correct.
And the diagram shows it 24 feet from Teak Road, 27 feet from Weigels Hill. I thought he said 22.
22 is the
It's the
shortest
shortest.
point.
Oh, I see there. Okay, very good.
I do have one question about, it's hard to determine exactly on here. How far back in from your property line is it roughly? Because your property line sits back from the roadway with the right of way.
I'm not.
Um,
I'm not positive about that.
Okay.
Or yeah, 'cause we just knew it was 24 foot back from Teak itself. From the actual road.
It's not.
No, just trying to figure out, I think, Rob, we would need a little bit better dimension up for the variance.
Well, I think what you have is sufficient.
Okay,
Because that would make it a maximum of 15 feet on one side and I'm sorry, 13 feet on one side and 8 on the other. I don't know that we need to
Then-
indicate that, really. We could just say
Okay.
it's a variance from the front yard requirement.
okay.
Basically, what you're trying to do, guys, if I understand you right, is to keep it off the right of ways for the two roads. Is that the reason for the question?
Well, we just
No.
wanted to find out how far it was, but I'm not sure it's an issue.
Okay.
Well, as far as teach roads, you only got one post there. That doesn't seem to be a problem. Because you're looking more at Wiggles Hill than Teak Road.
Yeah, but it also extends into the required yard on Teak, since it's a corner.
Okay.
This is Larry. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, and the,
I have no problem. I have no problem either, and I'll make a motion to grant the request.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 okay, Matthew and Pamela, if you, the board granted your variance, I will be in contact with you and get your certificate. The process started for your zoning certificate, and I will be back in touch with you.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Take care.
You
You
too.
too.
Okay, our next hearing is ZHB 20-13. It's located on Lovedale Road. Parcel is ID 1001-S-61. Mr. George, would you like to explain what you're looking for?
Give me a second, I'm getting them unmuted here.
Yes, this is Gus George.
Okay,
A long story short, I bought the property from Wally Red, owned for a lot of years, 20 years. And he told me that property there was industrial. So I took his word for it, property, and started cleaning the property all up and started setting some bins up. The whole idea of the project was to put a site in for the American Water Company for the storage of their stone and gravel that they need for their breaks and other pipelines. And then I found out it was B1 after we did a lot of the work there. And now I'm asking for, I guess, variance for that. That I can put the bins in. It wouldn't be open to the public. It would be only for water company usage.
John Larry here. Was it posted?
yes.
Any comments for or against?
Yeah, I did receive several calls on this, and I think there's some people here tonight that would want to address this. I'm trying to see if I have everybody unmuted that may want to address this. Let me see.
Not me.
I'm sorry. Who was that?
Leslie Pies?
Okay, you want to address this or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm just making sure I have everyone that will want to address this unmuted. Margaret's Galaxy, did you want to address this? I'm unmuting you, but I'm not getting a response here. Oh, there you
Yes,
go.
I would.
Okay, we'll keep you unmuted here for a few moments.
My name's Ray.
Yes, Ray.
Yes, I'd like to ask some questions.
Okay, hold on. I'm just making sure I have everybody that's unmuted here. Russell Verbanek, did you have any comments on this one?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I've got everybody unmuted.
One more, sir.
One more?
You
Bill?
get me? Marco McGlory.
Yeah, I saw that you're unmuted here. I'm just trying to see if I got everybody.
Bill's not unmuted.
Yeah, there's one here. I'm seeing, okay, I think we've got audio there now. Okay. We'll start with the public that has any comments on this one before I move any further. I'm sorry, I believe you said your name was Ray. Please state your
Yes.
name. Please state and spell your name for the court reporter.
Okay, my name is Ray Kuhn, Kuhn is my last name. I live at 320 Penn Street, right next door. Hi, Gus.
How you doing?
Doing good. I have a question. Like, when the water company's coming in, are they going to be like working over there at nighttime? Like say 2 in the morning?
Guarantee that they wouldn't be every once in a while if there's a break in the middle of the
Like emergency?
emergency only. It's
Okay. And then my other question is the building behind my house where the dumpster and car is. What was your plans with that?
I'd like to redo it sooner or later, but that's not on my agenda. I got to get the bins and the water company done first, and then I would like the building.
Okay, that's all. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Okay.
Could I hear a little bit more about the proposed use? I'm sort of unclear about what he's proposing to do.
For the water company, this is Gus Georges. For the water company, we've been dealing with them for about 50 years. We do a lot of work, not work, but we supply them a lot of material. They're looking for a dump. They have a water, need to dump their dirt from the break to a site, and then they pick up material, put back into, after they fix the pipe, they put like 2A limestone and 2B limestone in to fix the patch, fix the line. So they may be there, if it's a break one day, they may not be there for a week or 2 weeks until there's another break. Anytime they would be using that site is when they have a break for emergencies to get material to fix it.
Okay, and are there any buildings on it now?
On that piece of property, no. There was 2 parcels, one to the right of it. There is a garage that both parcels went together.
And you're constructing storage bins for the pipe products, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, and those bins are made of stone?
They're concrete block, yes. They call them jumbo block. You know, they're big blocks, so they don't move.
And there's pipe materials inside?
Not right now, but there would be like a 2A limestone, a 2B limestone, and a pile that, a bin there for their debris when they dump there.
So basically limestone?
Yeah, basically, yes.
Okay, you're going to have a debris bin and,
Correct.
and 2 stone bins.
Yes, in a cold patch bin.
Is there going to be any equipment kept on the premise?
Yes, there'll be one loader there.
How about any dust from the property there, from the whatever that takes place there?
We cleaned the place up. I don't know if you've seen it before or not, but it was a big scrap yard repair shop. There was junk everywhere. We cleaned it all up and we put a reclaim for your base, which is a reclaimed asphalt that they grind off the roads. And now it's dust free.
What I'm talking about is that the materials that you're going to be handling there, either debris that's returned or the materials you'll be putting out to the water company. Is there any
No.
dust resulting from the actions or activities that'll take place?
No, there won't be no dust there. No.
And what was the piece of equipment again?
Go ahead.
What was the piece of equipment?
It would be a wheel loader so that they can load their trucks up.
This is John Borsos, Borsos.
Yes, sir.
I live at 410 Lovedale. Gus knows me. As for he did clean up the property, I will give him that. But the amount of dust going and doing it, I'm not like it was a mess. Also, I mean, he constructed his bins. He's been very nice. I was wondering about the setback on the property line for construction of any, like it's almost probably a 1.10 foot wall in a B1. Is there any setback on that?
On the property line itself, which
is like, what is the setback on a B1 property?
I don't have that on me right this second, and I don't think I've seen a setback for B1.
I mean, was there a permit pulled to even construct anything here?
Okay, maybe it'll help if I just jump in right at this point. It started with a notice of a zoning violation. We noticed that items were being constructed there on the property without a zoning certificate and zoning review being completed. So we did not get a chance to review those for setback requirements or anything or any proposed use. Myself and Greg Butler did meet with Mr. Georges and explained it to him, and he explained to us what he planned to use the property for, and we explained to him the permitted zoning in the B1 district, and Mr. Georges decided to appeal for variance to the zoning hearing board, not the violation, but a variance for a use. For the best I could classify the use under our current zoning would be a supply yard that is defined as a commercial establishment engaged in storing and selling building supplies, industrial supplies, or feed and grain, primarily to businesses rather than the general public. The only district that is permitted for within our zoning right now is the M1 Light Industrial District.
So I did not move into, I understand where I moved. When I bought my house, it's zoned B1. I did my due diligence to know what I was buying, where I was buying. The possibility of a retail commercial business where your normal almost 9 to 5, unless it was a convenience store where it may have been open 24/7. I did not move into a community where it was industrial use. For you to change something to make this industrial, I mean, it hurts our little community down here. I understand we're a little community, but it would hurt us as a community to have trucks coming in and out at any time of the day. If it was just 9 to 5, I would be way more okay with it, because at least I know I can sleep. I get up at 4:30 in the morning every morning to go to work, and to be woken up by a dump truck 10 feet from my house at 3-4 o'clock in the morning is not what as a township, like a person of the township, I would not want that for anybody that is living in either a business district or a residential community, to have that happen to them in the middle of the night, let alone me. And that's where I stand. And I understand, like, you're going to say, oh, they're just going to be here and there. But what happens when it's every night, when there's a water break, or if you start putting salt there for contractors to come plow? I mean, that's the thing, is like right now you're saying it's just for the water company, but once it's made into industrial, a use for industrial supply yard, you could supply whoever you want.
Yeah, yes, it would be just for a use variance, just for that. It wouldn't be changed to industrial. I'm not looking to get it for a usage.
Yeah, the board could limit it. The board can always put conditions. Who is that? Who is the person speaking about not moving into industrial area?
This is John Borsos, Borsos.
Okay.
And
How close do you live?
From my property line to his property line, at the closest point, maybe 6 feet for my house, the corner of my house, because my house was built in 1850. It's the Blake's old house. And I've done work to this house to make it look better than when I bought it. I mean, I'm proud of where I live, and I would, like I said, if it was a convenience store, I could understand, because it's permitted to be there. There's no, for a variance for a change of use, it should be a hardship. It's not because he didn't know what he bought. He should have known. You do your due diligence when you buy a piece of property. If you are a businessman, you don't take someone else's word what you're buying. You know what you're buying. So if a variance is supposed to be a hardship, not done to yourself. If it's a hardship that he started building it himself, he should have did his due diligence before he started building to know what he bought.
Okay. And your property adjoins Mr. George's then?
Correct.
Okay.
And I know Mr. Boris did have a question. The setbacks for that in the B1 district, accessory structures, there's a 50-foot front yard, and the side and rear yard for accessory structures are 20 feet.
So that bin should be 20 feet from the property line.
Would have to be 20 feet from the property line, or a dimensional variance would be required to erect it closer to the property line.
Okay. One question along the same line, and not to distract the thought process, but where is the entrance to this property as far as for the supply? You know, if this would go through, where would the trucks be coming in and out?
The entrance to the property is actually on
Scott Street.
Scott Street.
Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that's correct, Scott.
Say that again. I lost it.
Scott Street.
I got that. That was a comment.
Yeah, the gate right into that is pretty much straight in line with the long section of Scott Street.
Okay.
The only comment I have, I know the piece of property, and I think whatever they do is better than what it is now. That's been an eyesore, I think, forever.
May I make a few comments, sir? John?
Yes, I'm just working my way down the other people. Hang on a moment.
Okay.
Bill Binen, do you have any comments here?
I'm gonna let Attorney Rob Falque. Good evening, everybody. My name is Robert Falque. I am the attorney for Bill Binen and Blue Ridge Nurseries. And Mr. Binen has an interest in this use variance. And I just wanted to quickly go through a few things. Since we're talking about a legal issue, it seems that the applicant wants to shy away from what he's actually trying to do at this property. He wants to say that he merely wants to hold stone products to be used when needed, as the ordinance officer, Mr. Snelson, correctly determined that the use is what the zoning code calls a supply yard. And as Mr. Snelson already said, that is only permitted in an M1 light industrial district. Thus, the applicant appealed and wants a use variance to permit a side yard in a B1 local commercial district. That request is totally unsupported by the zoning law. And just to quickly go through the criteria, which most of you already know, for obtaining a variance, there has to be a unique physical, circumstance or conditions peculiar to the particular property which create an unnecessary hardship. And in this particular case, there is no unique physical circumstance or condition on the property which creates a hardship. In fact, this property is one of the flattest parcels in the borough. You could have any business there that's in a list of permitted uses in a B1 district could be set up there. There, as far as I know, there's no marshes, there's no water going through, there's no precipitous drop-offs. That property is flat. So that's the first criteria, that there is no unique physical circumstance that would create a hardship. Then following up on that, there is a criteria, excuse me. That because of the physical circumstances or condition, there is no possibility that the property can be developed in strict conformity with the zoning ordinance, that the authorization of a variance is therefore necessary to enable the reasonable use of the property. Again, once again, that criteria cannot possibly be met because there's nothing wrong with the topography of the property. And in fact, the Supreme Court went even further to say that if there'd be a structure, something like that, that would be cost prohibitive to develop, that also could be a hardship. I don't think there's any major buildings there other than some side buildings. And then the third criteria is that the unnecessary hardship has not been created by the applicant. There is no hardship that anybody created. Also, as the gentleman had spoken before, the neighbor gets into the fourth criteria, that the variance, if authorized, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood or district in which the property is located, nor substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property, nor be detrimental to the public welfare. I mean, you already hear testimony that the gentleman does not want to be woken up by heavy trucks coming back and forth into the property. And that would certainly be another criteria that cannot be met because the neighborhood is going to be changed. You're going to have triaxle trucks running through it at any time of the day. And the last criteria is that the variance, if authorized, represent the minimum variance that will afford relief and represent the least modification possible of the regulation issue. And again, you don't need a variance. There's nothing that would prohibit someone from developing that property in any possible way that's listed in the B1 section of the code. There's all sorts of businesses that could be put there. So the bottom line, legally, you can't meet any of the criteria for variance. And not only are you trying to move from a B1, you're skipping B2, and you're going into an M1 light industrial. So you're jumping two zones. we took a look at the zoning map and there's no M1 industrial, light industrial anywhere close to this property. So you'd have a situation where you'd have an anomaly, which the zoning board doesn't want. So legally, as what I'm trying to set forth is that there's no criteria that are met, and it'll damage the neighborhood, and the property can be used any way that is listed on the B1 code. Thank you.
Before, I have a question. You say you're representing a Mr. Bynan?
Yes, sir.
And where does he live relative to this property?
He owns Blue Ridge Nursery, and he lives about a mile or two away. And he does not want to see businesses open that do not conform to the zoning code.
Okay, so he's not living in a neighborhood there. That's what I was getting puzzled
No,
with.
he's not living in the neighborhood. And I personally, I live in Little Boston, so I live about a mile away from Lovedale. So I personally am affected, in addition to representing Mr. Bynan here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Gus Georges. I had a couple comments. It wasn't going to get changed from B1 to M1. It was just, I was only going for a U. The second thing that we could do, if you would.
Speak up, we can't hear.
Second thing I would try to do is, what's the ordinances for working from 7 to 7? Is that your ordinances for working in the borough?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I say, is that your ordinances in the borough from 7 to 7 for working hours? I can have it open up for working during the day hours only, not in the evenings. They can dump someplace else in the evenings.
So that is not a criterion for obtaining a use variance. The hours are relevant.
Well, I was just I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to everybody to see if that would help out at all for the neighbor and everybody else that's there. It wouldn't be in the middle of the night and everything else. I can have it during working hours only.
All right. I'd like to comment there.
Hold on, if I could answer his one question. There is no operating hours under the zoning. That under the zoning ordinance, there are no operating hours within the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And we'll get to you. I'm just trying to make sure I don't skip anybody here, so just bear with me. I'm just going down the list as I see here. Allison Pierce?
Yeah, my question is this. Since when does 2A modified not contain dust as well as 2B and, having a debris pile? That there's nothing but dust in modified stone. How are you going to contain the dust?
Is that to me?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, 2A contains dust. 90% of the time it is damp. There are some dry loads. When you load a truck, I can't see it going much further than, not that far away from a truck when you load. I own a supply yard in South Park, and I load trucks up every day. There's not a dust problem loading trucks.
Really?
Most of the time, yeah.
Allison, could we have your last name? I'm just keeping track of
Peers,
who.
Peers.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
Who?
You go ahead.
Oh, all
State your
right.
name.
My name is Leslie Pies. My address is 309 Penn Street. I have the triangle property, the rental property. You might as well say the whole side of Penn Street down to Ross. And my questions are, I'm frowned upon if I start a truck or I run a piece of equipment or anything that's not, where the people are up and awake. I wouldn't even run my lawnmower like that, especially, to annoy the neighbors because they're sleeping late, say on a Saturday or something like this. So I understand, and I have people that complain to me because I'm a landlord that, you know, oh, you have, you know, this truck is running and this guy's making noise, things like that. There's a lot of things that I know you can't, you know, eliminate, but I would feel a lot better, and I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood that lives there, say from dawn to dusk, would be fine. But after that, when the sun goes down, so does the equipment have to stop. And if you have a rubber tired loader, every time you back up, you get that backup horn. And if you don't, you're in violation of some OSHA code. So I'm sure that everybody would be well annoyed with everybody backing up with the beep, beep, beep. That's number one. Now, as far as hauling that stone and everything, every time that truck hits the highway, it's got to be tarped because of dust. And so, you know, it's just the thing that has to be done. But when these trucks come in and out, they usually use Scott Street in the back. Scott Street is not really built for trucks like that. If you look at the roadway from the little bit of use from the block trucks that have come in and out, bringing in those, what are they, 1-ton stones or not, it would be, it's going to tear up the road itself. And I'm sure if Mr. Snelson would go over there and look at Scott Street, you could see some of the things starting to break up, the asphalt, things like this. You know, I mean, we're going to have broken roads. You know, a Penn Street where I'm at is also, you know, it's not made for that kind of trucks, but you could see some of the sewers need to be re-bricked around the catch basin, things like this. It's only going to get worse with heavier trucks. It really, the only thing I could say, this is a residential area, and yeah, you can overdo something a little bit, but not constantly. And I'm afraid that that's what you're going to end up with, because, you know, Christmas Eve, who wants to hear beep, beep, beep? I'm sorry that you're out of water. You know, I really feel for you because I have worked construction a lot, and things don't break down 9 to 5. You know, wait until, you know, the 3rd of July on the weekend and my air conditioner breaks down. And, you know, I mean, yes, this happens, but, you know, let's not, you know, help things along.
Okay, your name is Leslie
Yes,
Pies, P-Y-S-Z.
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Not so
Marco?
like apple pies.
sorry. Okay, I see Marco here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just state your name.
My name is Marco McGlory. I'm a local business owner. I'm here with my partner, Jay Kema. Hello, everyone. So, a little bit concerning, you know, that business going in down there. I live over in Green Oak. I don't live down by there. I have a supply yard right up the street where it is zoned for that use. And now, you know, from what I was told, and he stated, there's no dust from limestone. And then now there's dust from limestone. I can tell you, it being in the business, there is sometimes so much dust that you don't even want to open your eyes when the wind blows. It's, you know, for all the other things that can be used down there, I don't think a supply yard, you know, should be put in there. He's saying he's supposed to be selling to the water company. Yeah, I spoke with a supervisor of the water company, and there, you know, there's no no known information of that supposed to be, for the water company, when the water company is right down the street on McKeesport Elizabeth Road. That, if they have supplies and stuff. Not saying that he does not sell to them, etc., but, a supervisor you would think might have some information that, something that is going to help them get access to material and, in an emergency, he should know. My thing is, if that business would be allowed to be open for that, who's not to say in 5 years, 10 years, this, that, together, that, a local supply yard could come in to do mulch, all the other things, and be selling stuff to possibly drive out not only one, but 2 local supply yards in the township of people that actually live here in the township, pay taxes in the township. And, it could be a very bad thing. And then where are we at? And it's, I think you guys pretty much covered everything on, having the permits, this, that, and the other thing. But, when I opened up my supply yard, I had to make sure I had all the permits and everything like that before I erected a wall, before I did anything. And from my understanding, there was the wall went up, everything went up. There was no permits. It's above the height requirements. I mean, it's not right. So, yes, that's what we had to say. So.
Okay, Margaret? Yeah.
Hello, this is Margaret Shelke. I live at 1805 Lodge Street in Boston. So I have a few comments. I believe it was Mr. Ofer that brought up that the property was an eyesore and he would like to see something back on that property. It may be an eyesore, but replacing it with another eyesore is not a solution for the township. As a very concerned citizen with a lot of properties, I am worried about the precedent being set, taking a B1 business into a light industrial in an area that has houses around. Myself and my husband we were just before the zoning board several months ago with a B1 that was being tried to be changed to an M1, which would have been next door to us. It is not a precedent that the township needs to set. There's plenty of other spaces in the township to have industrial, not bordering in a B1, not changing the variance use. Mr. Pies also brought up the use of the road. I have a lot of concerns. We just all went through, everyone that lives in the township went through all the construction and road work on Lovedale, which having a lot of, I believe they're triaxle trucks loaded with stone coming on and off of that road, in addition to the heavy, heavy burden that would place on Scott Road, which is not something that those roads are meant to withstand. Also too, limestone does create a lot of dust. Limestone itself is a sedimentary rock, which creates adverse symptoms, may include respiratory tract irritation and coughing, respiratory tract irritation, prolonged or repeated inhalation of respiral crystalline silicone liberated from this property can cause silicosis, fibrosis, which is scarring of the lungs and may cause cancer. This is not something that the houses and rental properties around that property need to be worried about having on their doorsteps. The noise level is also something that should be considered, especially for the rental properties, which bring in a lot of income and property taxes for that. Also look at the property values of the township. These houses would be directly impacted by having something that would be a light industry next to them.
Okay, is that all you have, Margaret?
That's it.
Okay. I see that we have a Leslie Pies that's joined us too. Do you have comments on this one?
Well, I already spoke.
Oh, are you called in by phone too?
No, that's just.
No, this is his son. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just state your name, please, for the record.
Leslie Pies.
There are 2 of us with the same name.
Yes,
Where does the second one live?
In the
I-
same house.
yes.
Okay.
So I sorry, I got home late from work and I just got in. So I just wanted to voice my concerns, especially with the back street, with the rental property there. The Scott Street, definitely, we definitely have seen an increase in traffic back there. I mean, that road is not a commercial street at all. And if, we're looking to get a tenant in within the next couple months, and with, parking being, limited as it is, and obviously on the street, with big trucks and triaxles and trailers and stuff like that coming through there, I mean, it's only a matter of time until, until a vehicle gets sideswiped or, accidentally even, but just, something happening. That road is definitely not a commercial road. When the water company came through and repaved, it was nice at that time. It's starting to, crack and subside. I know that the base there wasn't very good to start with, but, it did look better. And like I said, I just have a concern with the amount of traffic, the wear and tear on the road, and, obviously who's going to kind of maintain that, with all the added traffic and just as Ms. Ofer said about the dust and just everything with more commercial traffic. I'm sure, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, no one was planning on any kind of commercial, on that back street. If it's taken off of Lovedale or something like that, that's one thing. But not on a residential where, kids play. I know the lady in the back, she has a granddaughter that plays in the street there that, I stop all the time for while she rides a bicycle and things like that. Just like I said, just kind of, concerned that route. I mean, there's another couple back there, that they just had a young baby. They just had a baby. Obviously she takes, the kids out that way. Like I said, just concerned. There's animals back there. There's dogs that, that escape and run down the road. One gentleman put a better housing up for his animals. Like I said, just wanted to voice my opinion on that. Like I said, we've just seen a lot of additional traffic, a lot of stuff that we haven't seen before. And I just, if we're talking about rezoning and we're talking about doing different things that, this wasn't designed for, I don't know if that's the best route to take.
Hey, John, this is Larry. We've had several of the folks tonight commenting about the use of the road. I guess we're not prepared, I don't imagine this evening, but it's something we should be considering to address here, and that's the load limits on the road.
Yeah, I know the township has evaluated all their streets for the paving program. I don't know where that street sits on the condition scale off the top of my head without pulling that information up.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's not in new shape.
It's not that old.
May I comment on that also, sir?
Yes, sir. I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Scott Street. The water company had a paving outfit come in when they put new water lines in through what we call Lovedale. And that was a real sad operation. The road, Scott Street, is pitched the wrong way. It's not a level road. So we had a real heck of a time because we tried to ask them to put curbing in to at least channel the water, because we have a lot that's, next to Scott Street. And every time it rains hard, you can't walk in this lot. I mean, it's a swamp. Now, that's not this Mr. George's fault at all. But if you go back there, the road's all cracked and broken, and I'm not saying that his triaxle trucks or whatever, just the additional trucks, back there have caused this. I know, because it was when the water company put the water line in, they did paint it black. I'll put it like this, but now we've got cracks in the black. I mean, big ones. So I'd like to have John Snelson go back there, take a look at this and see. And I'd like to talk with him and see what's the weight limit on a road like that, because I know when they dug it up, I was standing there watching, and they have Red Dog underneath that. And that's not a good base to start with. So, it looks like if you were doing this right, you'd need some sewer in there with some catch basins to catch the water, things like this. But, let's not, put lipstick on a pig. What you have is an alley. Let's not kill this alley.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
There is a weight restriction on on Lovedale, and it is 28 ton. Where Lovedale meets 48, there is a 10 ton weight limit on that road.
Well, in response to the lady that just spoke, nobody knows about it because there's triaxles that go up there fully loaded both directions.
Yeah, there is a sign right off of McKeesport Road that says that the bridge weight limit is 28 ton. If you come onto Lovedale, off of 48, between the Carriage Inn and Harrison Road, there is a sign that is posted 10 ton weight limit.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
We lose John.
No, he's still there.
I'm still here.
Okay. We got anybody else, John, to speak?
Anybody else wish to speak on this? Let me check to see if.
It's Margaret Delkay again.
Okay.
I believe the property behind that, there's a special conservation area. Has anyone at the board looked at how close that borders the property and what impact it would have on the conservation area?
Okay, the only other one here, Russell said he didn't have anything. Kevin Jones, do you have any comments on this one?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments on this? There's no other comments, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, what is the position of the board? Larry?
I think there's too many open issues for me, John.
Charlie?
You got a bag of worms there, and I'm not sure I'd want to go.
Jane,
There are too many issues. No.
Jerry,
From what I hear, I think we should have a lot of the opposition to it, and we've always kind of went with our opposition. So I make a motion that we deny this variance.
I have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but not for those reasons. There's too many issues, not because of the, I'll second the motion. Let's let it go.
You have a second.
Do you want a roll call vote?
Yes, I do. I want a roll call vote.
Okay. Mr. Voda,
No.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Mr. Ofer,
No.
Mrs. Blake,
No.
Chairman Kelly.
No.
Okay, motion passed to deny the variance request.
This is Gus Georges.
Go ahead. Gus, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, we can hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Said thank you for your time.
Okay, I'll be in touch with you guys.
All right, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready, John?
Hang on a moment. Let me get, okay. I think we're ready to go for the next one here. Let me get the applicant unmuted here. Okay, Mr. Chairman, whenever you're ready.
Okay, it's the ZHB 20-14. Property owner is Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, you want to tell us what you're looking at?
How you doing? My name's Kevin Jones. I have the property towards the end of Ross Street, right behind Kelly's Used Cars. It's in the B1 district. And in the usage for B1 is used car lots, repair facilities, convenience stores, gas stations. And all I want to do is put up a pool building and for storage for inside and outside for myself personally.
John, has this been posted?
Yes.
Any comments from anyone on it, for or against?
I just had one or two phone calls inquiring about the use of the property.
John, along that line, could with your comments that you may want to present to the board, could you also comment about the fact of where Kevin would like to build this building as opposed to the two divisions that it's in, the two districts that it's in?
Yeah, this property has a, hang on, let me get to it. The property actually has an address of 0 Ross Street. The property, if you look in the information I gave you on page 11, the property is actually divided between the B1 district and the SC district. In speaking with the applicant, the section of the property that he plans on using is located within the B1 district. I was out there and saw where he planned to put the entrance, and it is located lower within the B1 district. It's not very far in from the property line from the edge of the property for the used car lot there on
Kelly?
Ross Street. Yes, Kelly's used car lot. Thank you. And in speaking with the applicant, with his request for when he came and inquired with me what he could, what he wanted to use the property for, it's basically, he stated he wanted to use it for storage, for items that he cannot fit at his business that's located down the road, and it would be comparable. The best use I could find for that, because we don't classify just private storage other than for like a residential use, would be a use by special exception for a comparable use not specifically listed. And the closest use I could find for self-storage, whether it be personal or commercial, would be a mini warehouse or self-storage facility, which is a conditional use in the B1 district.
John, I don't know whether this goes to Mr. Jones or whether it goes to yourself, but with the right-of-ways through there, there's a sewage right-of-way through there, I believe. Is this building going to be able to meet all the other requirements and restrictions that you may have?
I don't have anything yet on the location of the building, other than speaking with the applicant and him stating that he does want to put a building on there. And actually, I believe at some point in the future, he may want to, from speaking with him, at some point, he may want to construct something later on the property. There is a sanitary sewer easement, and it approximately, we can make sure, other than like a fence or anything, that the building would not be permitted to be built over a sanitary easement. But as we get closer to the permit or anything for the building, he would have to submit the paperwork for that, showing the setbacks of the building and everything. So that could be reviewed for zoning.
Just for the record, John, if I understood you right, that the building is the first construction that Kevin would like to have. The second part that you mentioned, additional construction, would be a fence. Is that where you were headed?
I think he first stated, if I recall, that he first wanted to put up a fence and then also add a pole building to the property.
Well, we should ask Mr. Jones. Kevin, you're on the phone with us yet?
Yes, I am, sir.
Yeah, you would put in a fenced-in area first. Is that an outside storage initially?
Outside storage initially for some trailers that I have. And the fence that I would put up would not be a cyclone fence, would not be a commercial style fence. It would be a wooden, sort of like a farm style fence to make it look appealing in the area, because eventually I may go and build a house up on the hill there also. That's what my plan is. I'm not planning on a building at this moment. I just want to make sure if I park any of my trailers or anything out there that I don't need any problems. That's why I'm here at the zoning board hearing tonight. As far as the building itself, the building that I am hopefully going to do is nowhere near the sewage right away also.
Good. Okay. So for now, Kevin, and what you're talking about is just a fenced in area.
Yeah, actually, it's not even going to be a fenced-in area. There's going to be I like to put a wooden fence up along Ross Street, which I showed John. I already called one call, and there's 2 trees for the entrance of the property. I'm going to put a gate right there, so people can't just go and basically drive in there. The fence is just going to be along Ross Street.
Okay.
How?
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Larry.
I just was curious of what size the fence will be, what height it will be, and how.
I didn't look at that, Larry. I did talk to John as far as he said, make sure I get the height wise, I'm going to say is not going to be no higher than 4 feet, I would presume. Sort of just like your fence at Round Hill Park.
Okay, well, it would be in compliance with the zoning.
Definitely.
The only thing the fence might need, how close to Ross Street would the fence sit?
I'm not, John, I'm in my infant stage here right now, so as far as off of Ross Street, I would, if to guess, I would say at least 5 feet.
Okay, that may, with that property abutting on Ross Street, that may require a dimensional variance for the fence, because I would have to say that would probably be considered the front yard of the property.
Correct.
So I would say to the board that the fence would probably require a dimensional variance. If he wants to go 5 feet off the property off of Ross Street, I would say
Like I said, I don't know. I might even be able to go 10 feet. Like I said, I'm just.
Let's talk about, yeah, I was gonna say, Kevin, let's talk about that a little bit. Where should he be, John, to be in compliance?
well, in the B1 district for an accessory structure, which a fence is, the minimum front yard is 50 feet.
Oh, boy, okay.
So to put the fence there, he would need a dimensional variance of 40 to 45 feet to put that type of fence along there. Yeah, I mean, a fence in that location, there's no intersection, and I think the board's fairly well familiar with that section. This is the best I can describe it. It's before Ross Street starts to incline and go uphill. That's the location that the entrance would be. Larry, you seem to know where the sewage easement is there. I believe the entrance is kind of like right there. The entrance would cross the easement or just be partially in the easement. Am I correct on that, Kevin?
Yes.
Are we a little bit ahead of ourselves relative to this fence at this point, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm not here even for the fence or anything, Mr. Voda. I'm here just to make sure that I can have a comparable use variance for my storage, and I was advised as far as to come for a zoning board here to have it. John said that it's the best comparable would be mini warehouse slash storage, basically.
But in this case, we're really talking about outdoor storage, not.
At the moment here, yes, we're talking outdoor storage.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'm going to put I would like to put a full building up for indoor storage.
Yeah, it came to comparable use that I was able to find that with Mr. Jones's request, the closest use I could determine would be a mini warehouse or self-storage facility, because he's only asking for storage, and under our zoning, that's the only thing I could find to classify his requested use as.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
My name is Leslie Pies, and what I am interested, is this going to be, done during, say daylight hours, dawn, dusk?
Oh, definitely, Leslie. Well, obviously we're on daylight savings times now, so
Well, you know what I'm trying to.
Yeah, as far as any equipment running or anything like that there, mainly all I got to do is dig out some stumps that are on the property right now. I cleared it out a few months back to see what I was up against, and also to find where the sewage was. And so as far as nighttime work or anything like that there, no, sir.
No, that's all that I was interested in, because just the same with the other end of Lovedale, this is residential, area like this. And, and I was just curious as to, are you going to I guess, are you bringing automobiles in or something like this to
Anything.
store?
I would bring automobiles, any of my trailers, anything for overflow parking. I was going to go, the B1 district was, which you're aware of, has the Kelly Auto Sales there, and I could have put another car lot there, but I didn't want to do that because I was like, okay, I just want it for storage, but I'm allowed to put a car lot on the property. That's
Yes, I understand, but I just wanted to ask you if it was going to be, you know, a daytime job, or is this going to come?
there's no hours of operation. There's not there's no employees there. This is going to be storage mainly for myself.
Okay.
Any lights of all, any electricity going to be there at all, Kevin?
Only thing I would not have no, as far as stadium lights or anything to that nature, Larry, no. I would like to get electric there, obviously for security cameras.
Gotcha.
Kevin, do you own a used car lot next door? Is that correct?
No.
No, there's a used car lot next door. I own a used car lot approximately a half a mile down the road.
Right next to the Giant Eagle down there.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where that is. Next to the ice cream place.
Right next to that.
Okay, I'm going to check real quick to see if we have any comments real quick while we're here. Margaret Felke, do you have any comments on this one? Do you
No
have any
comment from me,
no,
thank you.
okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Bynum, do you have any comments on this one?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for
I
John.
have, go ahead, Rob. I do too.
This is a special exception that's being requested here, correct?
Yes.
Under 1403.12, comparable use not specifically listed.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Russell Verbanek, do you have any comments on this?
No, I don't.
Okay. John Burris, do you have any comments on this one?
No comments.
Okay.
John, if you have a minute, I have a question if you have a minute, John.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just seeing if there's any other comments.
Finish, do what you're doing. I'll follow you.
Okay. Leslie Pies?
No, I already.
Your
asked
son.
my-
Sorry,
Oh,
Junior. Junior.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Junior. Any
Nope.
comment? Okay.
No problem, John. No, not at this time.
Okay.
Okay, Larry, what was your question?
Go ahead, Larry.
I don't have a problem with this. I have a question on the logistics of how we progress here. If the board would see fit to accept this for storage, that would be outdoor storage. How do we progress into having Kevin be able to build a building later? I'm a little puzzled, John, of how we get to where we are without having Kevin back again.
With him saying in the future he may want to build a home there?
Well, no, I think he's talking, I think the home is up on the hill, isn't it, Kevin?
The home would be on an existing 58 acres, but the building would be on this parcel here.
Yeah, and how do we progress to that with this request, or should we, John, at this point, so that Kevin's not back and forth here?
Well, I think if I follow correctly, the home I believe has another parcel right up there, and the home would be constructed on that parcel?
Correct.
No, I'm
Okay.
not talking about the home. I'm talking about the building for the indoor storage on this property.
Oh, okay. You could, well, right now the main issue would be the use. if if a use or if a special exception is granted for a comparable
Over
use,
TV here. It's like, is he gonna get it?
he would just have to meet the requirements, and that building would become the principal structure on the lot for that use. Then the building would just have to meet the required setbacks for the B1 district.
And if they're all met, then I have no problem.
Yeah, and the required setbacks are front yard building would have to sit 50 feet from property line at Ross Street, and then it would have to sit 75 feet back from which is the hard part to determine the split on the property for the SC district, and the side. Well, I'm sorry, that would be the side yard. And the rear yard is going to be 20 feet because the rear yard is actually going to be bordering a B1 district as well. The only, upon determination of exactly where the building would sit, a dimensional variance could possibly be required for the side yard. But I believe with a side yard of 20 feet and looking at the map where the property splits, I believe he may be able to achieve that setback. And I don't know, Mr. Kevin, are you willing to work and try to adjust the location of your building to meet the required setbacks for that district?
I definitely would try to, yeah, and I'm hoping that I would not have to get a variance if it would happen to be over 5 feet. Like I said, that is down the road there. I just want to make sure that I can do what I want to do on the property prior to constructing a pool building.
Okay, the only thing I have is if the board grants the usage, I think that we should look at the fence too in this period.
To look at the fence?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to grant you a usage and you're going to put your stuff there and you want to put the fence and the gate up, if we don't look at it now, then you're going to have to come back for it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's really what my question was, Keith, exactly.
Yeah, I can show as far as how does this work here then? Do I meet you out there and show you what I'm proposing for my fence and where I want to put my gate at?
I don't think you'd have to do that, would he, John? It would be more of if we're going to give them a 45.
It would be a dimension. You're referring to what kind of dimensional variance he would need?
Yeah. Whether
I have, being out there and looking at the property, I have a pretty good idea of where he's referring to the location of the fence. If you look on the information I gave you, it's page 4. It's the fold out survey. That you can see what looks like on this. There's like 2 catch basins, 2 squares and 2 dots. And the gate, I believe, is going to be up just a hair from the top circle right there, if that's, right within that area. And to put it there, he probably, if he's going 5 foot back from there, he probably would need a 45-foot dimensional variance.
Well,
Just
if we give him a 45 foot and he sets it back 10 foot, he's within the variance.
Well, no, the front yard is 50 feet.
Yeah.
So not to be within the front yard, he would have to be 50 feet back from.
Right, but if he's gonna put the fence 5 foot off the property line, and we give him a 45-foot variance to meet that, then if he decides to make it 10 foot back off the property line, he's
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just means he can't come any closer than
5
5 feet to the property line. He can
Yeah.
come shorter if he wants, yes.
So does it,
That would satisfy my need, Keith, and my question.
so what, I mean, does anybody else have any questions?
We're not granting a dimensional variance at this point, right? Or are we?
We can,
I think that's what Keith was saying.
I think Keith was saying, do we want to just consider that with the request for the comparable use? Because I believe one of the first things that Kevin wants to put up is the fence, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't grant it, if we grant the comparable use right now, and then we don't grant the variance for a fence, because part of it is the fact that he wants to put stuff there and secure it, per se. Once he gets the land to where he wants to bring the trailer in on, he's gonna have to come back to us to get the variance, put the fence up.
Right.
That
Because it
was
would
my
be-
logistics question, Keith, and that is, if we do this in one, in one step here, we could perhaps give him everything he needs without coming back. Because
Yeah.
the fence is going to be up, if I understand, Keith, the fence is going to be, not Keith, excuse me, Kevin, the fence is going to be up considerably before the building.
Oh, the fence would definitely be up before the building, but like I said, it still will not be for probably, well, the way my time goes, probably not till springtime now anyways, but because I want to get the property obviously manicured to my likings first, and then see what kind of like I said, I'm not putting up a cyclone fence or anything like that there. I'm putting up a nice rustic wooden style fence. So we're clear on that also. Like I said, this is not going to look like a commercial piece of property that you would see in a some B1 areas, we'll say.
And now
What's the purpose of the fence?
For honestly, aesthetics and also security. Just so people can't drive into the property. It's not going to be, it's going to be, can someone run it over? Probably, yes, they could. And like I said, it's going to be more for aesthetics and looks.
Be about 4 or 5 feet high, Kevin.
Correct.
No, I just have a question for Rob, if I could. Now, if the board would grant this, are there any issues under 1403.12, or if it is a comparable use under 1403.32 that would need to be addressed, because there's certain requirements for mini warehouses and self-storage buildings, which was the most comparable use to the request I could find, but that's more for public use, or you know what I mean, that's open to the public, where this would be private storage? Or would that just
32, 1403.32, I don't think says whether it's public or private. I don't have 1403.12 here.
That's just comparable use is not specifically listed.
Okay, that just authorizes that in general.
Yeah, it asks to review number of employees, floor area, products, walk-in trade, which nothing under that really would apply to this.
Okay, yeah, I don't see anything that would conflict with the dimensional variance.
No, I'm referring to the use.
Oh, no, I think it's comparable.
Okay. What about some of the requirements under 1403.32? Like the lot size, direct access to an arterial collector street. Vehicular access shall be limited to 1 or 2-way driveways. Interior driveways shall be paved. There's just a lot, and reviewing some of these seem to be It's like stating office space. This seems to be more suited for like your, rent self-storage and
Right. Okay.
warehouse
see what you're
types.
saying. I see what you're saying.
I have a question for Rob, John, if it's a moment, if it's right now. This property is listed as 1.98 acres. 2 acres is supposed to be the limit on this, isn't it, or the requirement on this?
Yes, that's why I'm asking if there's any variances that would be required under 140332, or would it just be, are you granting relief from that section, or?
Well, the idea is a comparable use, not exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
So I don't know that you have to comply with every last provision
Okay.
of 1403.32.
Okay.
So the 1.98 acres is not a requirement for us, Rob?
Is that under what 1403.32?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Do we have
Minimum size.
to clean that up at the same time here?
No, I don't think so, because correct me if I'm wrong, John, 1403.32 authorizes a conditional use in B1, and you're not doing that. You're doing something of the same character.
Correct.
No, I think you're okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions? What is the position of the board?
I so move, Keith.
The only, if I could real quick, Rob, the only thing under 1403.12, comparable uses not specifically listed, would be C, the proposed use shall comply with any applicable express standards and criteria specified in this article for the most nearly comparable use by special exception or conditional use located in a zoning district in which the comparable use is proposed.
Okay. Well, then
So-
maybe we do need a variance from the 2 acres.
200 of an acre. 200
Or
of it.
would he need a variance just from most of 1403.32? I mean, it talks about finishes, operations, maximum size of storage units.
Well, what, I think that as you say, it seems like that's commercial self-storage, which this is not. I think we could say that he gets a variance from the 2 acres, and the remainder don't apply because it's not a commercial use. How's that?
Kevin, is that acceptable to you?
That's fine.
Yep. Okay, then that's what I'm assuming. And that would include, Bob, that would include the variance of, what was it, Keith, 45 feet or whatever it was there to get to be able to install the fence.
No, we still have to do that.
Still have to do that separately?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I would have to come separately for the fence.
No, we're doing it as part of tonight's action, but what we'll be doing is granting a special exception to construct a special exception for a use substantially the same as a mini warehouse,
Okay.
with a variance from the 2 acre requirement and a variance for a front yard fence.
Okay.
And that's for personal use.
Yes, it is.
Or would it be personal use, or would it just need to be that it's use limited to anything that like that way, if he would bring vehicles or something from his lot, that's limited to private storage of personal and business related items?
whatever, just this, the main point I'm trying to cover here is to make sure it's not commercial.
Well, if he, what do you mean by commercial, Larry?
It's not a commercial storage facility that Kevin's asking for.
I'm not putting in mini storages for commercial use, Larry. No.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
putting-
I'm
The
with you.
vehicles that he has on his lot, he owns. So, I mean,
but on one thing, I own the vehicles, but they are in my business name.
So it would be technically a commercial use, but it's for his business, or you can,
Fine.
Rob, would we be able to phrase it in a way that it's granted just for personal and business use of Elizabeth Auto or Mr. Jones?
What I'm thinking is that we'll say that he gets a variance from the 2-acre provision of 1403.32, and the balance do not apply because the use is limited to the property owner. How's that?
That sounds great.
That's perfect.
Yep. Does that sound okay for you, Kevin?
Yes, it does.
That's the way I captured it. Mentally.
Greg, do you have any comments on this one?
Good, Rob.
No, I don't. You guys covered it.
okay, Laird, did you make a motion on that?
I did. I make a motion consistent with that discussion.
We have a second.
I'm Charlie. I second the motion.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you guys for your time, and ladies.
Thank you.
Okay. We kind of skipped it at the beginning, but we have some minutes from last month to approve.
Yeah. They have a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
So move.
Second. Charlie?
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes.
Just need a motion to adjourn.
No move.
Second.
Any opposition?
No, I don't think-
Okay, we're done.
Thanks a lot,
Anything
everybody.
new?
Okay.
Hey, just
Good night.
hey, before everyone hops off there,